Hey guys, welcome back. And today I'm going to talk about a product that we've shown on the channel several times over the past few years, and that's the Atlas 80 volt string trimmer from Harbor Freight. A couple things we're going to do today is one, we are going to be replacing the OEM head. Two, we're going to show how to get that because we've had some questions about that. And three, we are going to do a 4-year review of it because we've had much more experience with it now. I think the last review I did was around 6 months, so let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so first let's talk about this product. This is the Atlas 80 volt string trimmer from Harbor Freight. They have a 40 volt version and an 80 volt version, and I bought this, I want to say, in spring of 2022. So it's been, I think, 4 years now. And it has provided a lot of good use. And while I do have some issues with it, I'm going to say this right now. It still does the job. It's going to do the job. If this fits in your budget, this is a good product to buy because it has continued to work. But we will talk about some of the downfalls that I've noticed, and not necessarily faulting the product on it, but basically talking about some issues that might be user error. I don't know. We'll find out. So a couple things. One, I have found that the trigger, let's show here, the trigger seems to, this year, I want to say maybe even last year, towards the end of the season, you pull the trimmer and sometimes it seems like it would have a little bit of a delay, not want to come on right away, but it did come on. So it wasn't anything enough to hold up the job, just something I'm pointing out. I don't know exactly what the reason is. It's just basically an electrical contact trigger. There's nothing special about it. So I don't know if it's getting dirty in there, if it's a product or a part that needs cleaned. I don't know. Everything else about it seems fine. The handle's good, the shaft is good, guard does its job. The main reason for this video is because of this head, and all the problems I've had is pretty much due to this head. Now, I'm going to show this here. See if we can't show it really good here. If you can kind of look at it, you kind of see this is worn really well right here. There's actually supposed to be a couple arrows on here. I'm not even exactly sure where they are. I don't know if this plastic is somewhat soft or what, but over a couple years, this will, if it makes contact with concrete, it is going to grind itself down. And the problem with that is there's 2 arrows you have to line up to before you feed the new string in. Now looking at it, I can't even be sure where they are. Maybe one might be here. Maybe right here. Maybe. I'm not even sure. There's just little divots and obviously rotational scars, you know, from using it there. So that's one product or problem. I'm sorry. The second problem is that over time, I don't know if the spring wears out or what, but this button here becomes very difficult to move. Now, it does still seem to bump and feed when you're using it, but it seems very hard to use. And what'll happen is I like to use this, I think it's 0.095 trimmer line. It's a little bit heavier than the 0.080. And I understand that's going to make it not have as much room in there. But what the problem is that when I'm trying to feed in maybe only 7 feet of this line, it is thicker in diameter, so it's not going to fit as much in as the green line, the 0.00, but I expect it to be able to feed about 7 or so feet, and because it's thicker, you're not really going to tear through it as much. And that's kind of the thing. It's a little bit of a trade-off. I like to have it because out here in the country, we do have some weedy areas, and it's gonna, you know, beat it down kind of good. The problem is you get it in there, and you might get the first, maybe the first 4.5, 5 feet of it in, and then it becomes very difficult to depress this and crank it. And like I said, I don't know if that's the spring underneath of there wearing out or what, but it's given us some problems, and I dealt with this basically all last year. I just powered through it, you know. But I kind of decided at the end of last season I wanted to go ahead and replace it because I kind of want it to work the way it used to. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and remove this today and replace it with a new one. Okay, so here's how to get a new one. Now, what you have to do, let's take a step back there. When you go to Harbor Freight thinking you're going to buy a new head for this thing, they don't carry it. Now, I don't really see the Harbor Freight carries much of anything as far as replacement parts go. They all have to be ordered online from what I can tell. And that's a negative. As far as consumer service, I think that's a negative. Now, water under the bridge. How do we get a new head? So what you have to do, you have to go to harborfreight.com/parts. And then there'll be a field in there, not at the very top, but somewhat farther down, maybe midway screen, down the screen. It'll say enter your part number or SKU or whatever. And this is that part. So the I want to say it's the 80 volt trimmer is item number 5. I think it's 56939. That's right. And the way I was able to figure out the part is I had to basically download the manual and then get on there and figure out, like, what do they call it and how can I find it. So I'm going to help you skip a step there. So like I said, harborfreight.com/parts. And what you're going to do is you're going to put in part number 23721. I'm going to show you that here real quick. All right. Now this is for the 80 volt trimmer. I went ahead and tried to look into it to see if the 40 volt trimmer had this part available, if it's the same part, and I'll be completely honest with you, I don't know. I pulled it up. I tried to search for the head assembly, which is what this part's actually called. I tried to search it there and it did not bring it up. So I don't know if this is the same part for the 40 volt trimmer or not. So I can't tell you go get one of these and throw it on your 40 volter if that's what you have. But for the 80 volter, which is what I have, it's gonna be part number 23721. So price wise, it wasn't bad. I think it was under I want to say it was under $15 at the time. It still is. I don't really want to quote you an exact price on it because prices do change, especially in the current times. But it was still, as of May 2026, under $15. You can kind of see how worn the old one is there. Here's the new one. So it does have the 2 arrows that I was talking about that are gone from this. Everything else looks pretty much the same. Looks like everything lines up. The feed arrow is still there on my old one and the new one. And just to let you know, it does look like it comes preloaded with the .080 line, which is the green line. Everything else looks pretty much the same. Looks like it has these cooling fins on this one, and this one does too. So everything about that looks pretty symmetrical and similar. So hopefully this is just a nice plug and play swap here. So I say let's go ahead and get to that. So like I said, we did a video a few years back that was probably our most successful video, where we did a real detailed explanation of how to take this head off, because there's nothing in the instructions that tells you how to do it. You're basically left on your own to figure it out. And we showed how to do that, and I think it's helped a lot of people, which is kind of one of the best reasons for doing videos like these, is when you really get the chance to help a lot of people do something that no one else has told them how to do before. But I will link to that video in the description, and I'm not going to be quite as detailed of a step-by-step on it. Might not have as good of a close-ups on it, but if you want to see exactly how we did that, go ahead and check out that video when we're done with this one. Again, you have to pop off the top part here by squeezing these tabs on the side. So there's one here and one on the opposite side. Squeeze those in at the bottom, and then pray it'll come off. No. There we go. All right, so over the years that's gotten kind of stiff. Let's go ahead and pull the bail out here. You never know. Sometimes on these parts, sometimes you want to save them just in case, if it even matches the one that is in the new one. Okay. So quick view. There's a screw inside of there. We told you in the last video, you kind of start with a. What I started with was a 5/16 flathead. You want a nice wide flathead that really fills up the spot there. You put it in there, but you don't put it in there to turn the motor. Again, you just hold it in place and you turn the head itself. Just in case you have any question about how this is threaded on there, when you hold it, if you're holding the motor stationary with the screwdriver in that slot, and then if you're looking down at the head, you basically turn it counterclockwise and you unscrew it off. So this could be lefty-loosey, just as if you were dealing with the screw. Now, as you remember in the last video, once this head comes far enough up these threads to where you can't use that wide of a screwdriver, you have to go down to like a 1/4 inch or something. Get it the rest of the way off. It's loose. Okay, we're off. All right. New head. So to screw this on, obviously we're gonna have to pop the top off of this one as well. And I love how it comes right off. Everything there looks pretty symmetrical. This is the new one here, and the old one. Now there's one difference I noticed on this. It looks like this one has some kind of a plate. It's screwed on. Is that screwed on? It looks like it has Phillips screws in there. So I don't know if this plate here comes off. I do see holes here. So that's one new thing you'll need to know is when you're replacing these heads, you might need to take this plate off and put it onto the new one. So let me go ahead and grab a small Phillips head screwdriver and swap this over. Alright guys, so I went ahead and grabbed a, I think it was a number 2 Phillips, and I also grabbed some precision screwdrivers because they look like they're pretty small screws here. Pretty small screws, but looks like a regular number 2 Phillips will do it. So let's get these off here. See how tiny these screws are. If I can hold it here, praying I don't drop it on the ground. Very tiny screws. You can kind of see the four holes here on the head. This plate comes off apparently. Now it looks like the brand new one. So we do need to take this plate off, put it onto the new part. So let's go ahead and do that. Kind of feel like the old holes are bigger, and that's probably from the install of the screw. But I need to get these in here. So what I kind of want to do, find me a super small, I don't know. I'm going to try to thread it in there. All right, guys. Well, after way too much time trying to get that done, I do have the new plate attached now. So just a real quick go over there. So you have to take this plate off of the old head. Fits on the back side. It's on the back side here on these 4 screws. Just doing a recap here. When putting this on the new head, I used a 5/64 drill bit to kind of open up the hole a little bit because the screws really didn't want to tap in very well. I only went about part way down into the holes, and then I used a number two drill bit because it's kind of hard to start them if you're just doing it by hand. Use a number 2 drill bit to get one started to align it. Got a second one in to lock it in place, and then work the other 2 in. All right, let's go ahead and now we got started there. Let's go ahead and get in position. This ain't ever gonna get done if we don't sit down here and do it. And just using the 1/4 inch Phillips, slot it in there to hold the head solid. Once that clears the screw, so you can use a larger one, I would. And the point of that is to not try to deform the slot, because if you ever need to take this off again and that slot is wired out, you'll never be able to do this. Alright. New head's popped on. Let's go ahead and close this thing up. Again, I'm going to line up these with the sides here. Pull these outside. Pop the new one on by lining up these tabs. Looks like we're ready to roll, guys. So we got the new head on. We'll probably bump these out a little bit. Yeah, everything looks good. So let's do a quick review. So quick review, go ahead and take this off by using a 5/16 Phillips. After taking this cap off, you put it in there, lock it in place. Unscrew this counterclockwise. Once you get it, once the internal thread in there gets up to the edge of the screw, use a 1/4 inch screw driver, flathead, get it off the rest of the way. Take the old head off. The back plate on there has 4 Phillips screws you're going to have to swap out. The way I did it, I use a 5/64 drill bit to kind of open up the holes. The holes are there, but I needed to open them up a bit to get my little tiny Phillips screws started. So after much struggle, got that back plate on. Then basically reverse order, you put it back on. And guys, we got a brand new OEM head. So a couple other things about this I wanted to re-emphasize. harborfreight.com/parts. You're looking for your SKU number, it's 23721. Put it in there. The price was under $15, so the price was reasonable still. Shipped to your house, and when you get it, just follow all those instructions and swap this on. So yeah, we got this replaced, and I got 4 years out of the other one. Probably first started having problems with it maybe towards the end of the 2nd season. So maybe you're only going to get about 2 seasons worth of life out of this, unless you don't ever do any trimming around sidewalks or something. If you don't get down to any concrete where you don't grind any of this stuff down, you might get more use out of it. So use may vary. So yeah, that's basically how you do it. But I am still happy with the trimmer. It's not perfect, but it does the job for me, and everything still works fine. I did have to replace the battery I had. I want to say after a couple years. For some reason, the Atlas battery stopped working, but I've got a new one. That's been working fine. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole deal. So I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you can get something out of this video. Again, I'll link to the more detailed video in the description. And if you guys like this, go ahead and click the thumbs up on it, share it, and thank you all for watching. And we'll catch you next time on Tractors, Trails, and Living Free.